Yeah.
Isabella, you know your party here? Yeah. Oh. Okay, so up on the board, which we need to be getting paper and getting started on. This will be on your test, which is on Thursday. Your test will include adding and subtracting polynomials like number 2, multiplying polynomials like the quiz I handed back yesterday, and number 1, and then the GCS, which is what we're going to work on again today. Okay, so let's get started. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Get calculators if you need them. And once you're done with these, go ahead and get out your homework. Riley, would you mind shutting the door, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Do you think I should stay after Mr. Finch?
Hey guys, hey, we're distracting everybody. Let's make sure that we are working on the wall, please. Isabella, do you need a pencil or anything?
I only realized because I only have one class with you. Two.
Get up. Break it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, these are good.
I think so.
Yeah.
You want one? Okay. Oh, man.
As you work today, we are going to review GCF. We're going to go over it. Put it away.
Oh, sorry.
Not doing makeup in class. We are going to review all of the problems from yesterday's homework for the GCF. You're going to have review work for GCF. Tomorrow is a review for the test. Everybody will have what their test is going to look like on Thursday tomorrow. So we're going to have a practice tomorrow. That way you can ask questions if you're confused, if you need help. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Everybody with me?
What are we doing today?
So we are going to review your homework and practice GCF. So today is a
Sorry, I
practice of
didn't hear
GCF.
you.
Hmm?
I said sorry.
No, that's right. Riley, if you need to go, leave your phone at the desk. First, just so you can hear, we are reviewing GCF today. You still have your test on Friday. It will include multiplying like number 1, adding and subtracting like number 2, and then GCF. Tomorrow we will be reviewing for the test. Today we're just reviewing GCF.
I didn't remember what it says, but I don't know which one.
If you need help on 1 or 2, or especially for number 1, there's some examples over here on the board to your right. Number 3 specifically.
Is is that R3x
Which one are we looking at?
for 2?
Huh?
For 2.
7x to the 7th minus 9x to the 5th plus 3x plus a negative 5x to the 7th minus 12x. Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a plus. So once you're done with these again, go ahead and get out your homework.
I honestly forgot about that. Can I just turn it in tomorrow and get late, right?
Sure.
Where'd the R go?
What are? That was a plus sign.
What's the plus?
Oh, I really thought it was smaller.
So give a rest.
I'll try to offer you 2 prints.
Thanks.
Alright, it's time to find this homework. Whew. Gonna be rough. Delete it. That's not it.
It's gonna be a worksheet. That's
A
a
worksheet?
It says
I
faculty
didn't throw this
policy.
stuff away. Just give me 1 second. Oh goodness, I didn't realize how she found it.
Okay. So when we take a look at these, number 1 is a multiplying polynomial. In this case, we have a binomial, meaning 2 terms, times a trinomial, meaning 3 terms. When we have a binomial times a trinomial, we are going to split the binomial in half. When we do that, it's between the variable and the sign. So the first term that I'm taking is this 6x. And I am multiplying it to everything in the parentheses. Then I'm going to take this positive 2, or I'm sorry, negative 2. And I write negative 2 and I'm multiplying that to everything in the parentheses. So now we have to multiply. And most of the problems you guys are having are with the exponents. It's not with the actual multiplication, but it's with the exponents. Most of you are doing fine and saying 6 times 3 is 18. But x times x squared, we keep the base and we add the exponents. So this is x to the first power. When I multiply this x to the first power times x to the second power, that becomes x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then 6x times a negative 4x. That gives me negative 24. X times x. We keep the variable, we add the exponents, gives me x squared. Last but not least, 6x times a positive 5, which is positive 30x. Okay, questions on the first part. Then we're taking this negative 2 times the 3x squared. That gives me negative 6. You keep the variable with it. Negative 2 times a negative 4x. Negative times a negative is positive 8x. Negative 2 times a 5 is negative 10. So now we are combining like terms. We can only add and subtract the variables with the same exponents. So I have 18x to the third. There are no other x to the third, so it comes down. I'm done with that. Then I have a negative 24x squared. So I'm looking for another term with x squared, which is this negative 6x squared. I keep the variables the same. So I'm only doing the numbers. Negative 24 minus 6 is negative 30. We keep the variable in the exponent, x squared. I'm done with those. Then I have a positive 30x. Are there any other x's? Yeah. The positive 8x. So 30 plus 8 is 38x. Last but not least, I have my constant. There's no other constants. So it comes straight down.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
When you did so in the parentheses up in the very, very top, not like very top going down,
Yep.
it says 3x to the second. Is that supposed to be 3 or second?
Right here?
No. Keep going left, like all the way to the left. Yeah. Is that,
3x to the second. And that's what was started off in the original problem.
oh, I didn't know if you did plus the 1 and the 2. Isn't that
Well,
supposed to-
so when I multiply the 6 times the 3, I get 18.
Oh, there. It was down
X to the
here.
first times x to the second is x to the third.
Wait, how do you x to the third if it was 6 times?
Because it's x to the first times x to the second. You keep the base and you add the exponents. Okay, number 2. This is standard form. When we are adding and subtracting, they need to be in standard form. So I have 7x to the 7th, a 6th, a minus 9x to the 5th, a third, a fourth, a third, a second, plus 3x. Plus. Then I have a negative 5x to the 7th and a negative 12x. So we match up the variable and the exponent. But we're missing something. There is no x to the 5th in the second one, so I put a 0 x to the 5th. And then we're adding. 7 plus a negative 5 is 2. X to the 7th. Negative 9 plus 0 is negative 9x to the 5th. 3 plus a negative 12 is negative 9x. When you are adding or subtracting, you do not add or subtract the exponents. Those are just like terms, they have to stay the same. We're only adding and subtracting when you multiply the exponents. So you will see questions like this on your test on Thursday. Questions?
I just look at it first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isabella, you good?
Wait,
Okay. So, yesterday we did GCF, which was greatest common factor. And the hint that I gave you yesterday, start with the smallest number. Okay? So, an example, let's say I've got 6x plus 12. And it says to factor. Okay? We're starting by looking and saying, okay, what's my smallest number? My smallest number is 6. Does that divide perfectly into both the 6 and the 12? And you guys all have your gum, then I'll keep going.
It's mine.
Under you.
You keep going. I started good mine.
Okay. So when it says to factor, we are looking at the smallest number first, which happens to be this 6. So we are trying to see, does it divide perfectly into both? And what I mean by that is, get your calculator. Do 6 divided by 6, does it give you a whole number?
No.
Do 12 divided by 6, and does it give you a whole number?
Yep.
They both do. This
This way.
is then my GCF. When we have our GCF, that comes out in front of the parenthesis, and what goes in the parenthesis is what we're dividing. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 what? 1x. 12 divided by 6 is a positive 2. This is factor. So you should have your homework out.
Is this gonna be on our test too?
Yes.
Base rushing.
No, we can't.
Number 1, all of these are factoring. So we have 8 plus 6x to the 4th. Olivia, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. So we start with our smallest number, which is the 6. Can 8 be divided perfectly with the 6? No, it's going to give us a decimal. So now we actually have to factor 6 out. So what numbers multiply to give me 6? Well, 1 times 6, and then I do 6 divided by 2. Does that give me a number?
Yep.
What's 6 divided by 2?
3.
3. Okay, so these are my factors for 6. We've just tried to divide these by 6. It didn't work. When I say it doesn't work, 8 divided by 6 is a decimal. We do not want decimals. We check in descending order for the greatest common factor. So now we're using 3. We know it goes into 6 because it's a factor. What about 8? 8 divided by 3 is a decimal again. So that doesn't work. So the only other number that we can use is 2. Let's see if 2 works. So we are dividing by 2. 8 divided by 2. Okay, so this works for both of them. So that means the 2 is the GCF. So when that's the case, we put that in front of the parentheses. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. Did we touch that x to the 4th? No. So it just hangs on. This is the factored answer. So this is from your homework last night, so you can be checking it right now. I'm going to do all 10. Okay? Number 2, real easy. 2n minus 4. So again, when we're doing GCF, we start with the smallest number. What's the smallest number in here?
2.
2. Are both of the terms divisible by 2? Well, let's see. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, that's divisible. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, great. So this is the GCF. Say it again, honey.
So never mind, I did this.
So now I have 2, because my GCF always goes on the outside of the parentheses. What's inside the parentheses? Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Do I need to put 1n? No. You can. I just put an n, because that's how you're going to see it on tests. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Questions on 1 and 2? Okay. Now we're going to get to the ones that are a little bit trickier. So number 3. We have 4n to the 9th plus 12n.
When Maris gets back, can I search?
Sure. From here, what is my smallest number? 4. Let's see, does that work for both? 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, that works. 12 divided by 4 is 3, that works. But that's not the GCF. What else is the same in both terms? Well, let's see. There is an n in both terms. when there is the same variable in both terms, you are going to factor out the variable with the smallest exponent.
So you're doing the opposite.
What do you mean?
You just said smallest.
The smallest exponent. So which one has the smallest exponent? The 9 or the n? N to the what?
Nothing.
Well, it has something. N to the first. So I'm going to factor out n to the first. So when I do that, this is the GCF. So now I have 4n times. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1. When we divide variables with like bases, we keep the base and we subtract the exponents. So I'm going to keep the base. 9 minus 1 is 8.
Wait, so even though for the greatest common factor you had 4 in the first, you don't have to put that down there?
Anything that doesn't have an exponent is 1. So I don't need to write the 1.
Okay.
Okay? So then, 12 divided by 4 is 3. N divided to the first divided by n to the first is the same thing. So we don't need to put it. This is my answer. Please leave it in the desk.
Are you good over here?
Yeah, I just took a stumble.
Okay, number 4, we have 3r plus 9.
How did you get
Good.
1 and over 1?
Huh? So n with no exponent is n to the first. Anything with no exponent has a power of 1. So over here, there's not r's in both, so we're not going to be pulling out an r, which is great. The smallest number is 3. These are both divisible by 3. So that, once again, is my GCF. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 what? 1 r. 9 divided by 3 is positive 3. There's number 4. Okay. Number 5, you won't see on your test, but this is something that you need to know. Okay, I was saving this for today. So when we look at this, the GCF is 3. Except when the first term is negative, it's not allowed to be. So whenever the first term is negative, your GCF also has to be negative. So even though my smallest number is 3, because this first term is negative, my GCF then is negative 3. Okay? If the first term is negative, your GCF has to be negative. Because we want our first term to be positive. And that's going to be important when we come back after break when we start factoring binomial or factoring trinomials. So negative divided by a negative is positive. 12 divided by 3 is 4. I didn't touch the a, it just stays. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. That's the factor for number 5. So we've done half the homework. What questions do you have? Anything yet? So we're going to start getting a little bit trickier. Okay. Number 6. This is where it gets trickier. 5r plus 4r to the 4th.
Wait, I thought it was.
Are you good? Okay. So my smallest number is 4. 5 divided by 4, is it a decimal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next factor is a 2. 5 divided by 2, is that a decimal?
Yep.
So there's no number that is going to be a GCF. The only thing that's the same in both are the r's. So when we factor out a variable, we are looking at the smallest exponent. What's the smallest exponent? 1. So I'm factoring out just r. So when I do this, those are gone. So now I have r as my GCF. R divided by r is 1, cancels. It's 5. Plus, nothing happened to the 4. But what's r to the 4th divided by r? Remember, when we're dividing variables, we subtract the exponents. So this r down here is r to the 1st. 4 minus 1 is 3, so I get r to the third. Okay? I can understand why you would have some questions on that. So what questions do you have?
How'd you get
R to the third. So when I factor out an r, remember, anything that doesn't have an exponent is r to the first power. So this is r to the first. I'm dividing. When we divide these r's, we keep the base, which is r, and we subtract the exponents. 4 minus 1 is
R is
3.
subtract.
Because that's how you divide exponents. So this really means r to the fourth is r times r times r times r divided by r. Hey ladies, please stop. R divided by r, this is gone. That leaves me with these 3 r's, which is r to the third power. Number 7. We've got 12n to the fifth plus 16n to the third. Okay. 16 divided by 12 certainly isn't going to work, so now I'm going to come off to the side. I've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. 16, so we've used 12, we go to the next biggest number, which is 6. 16 divided by 6 doesn't work. So then I go to 4. 4 works.
Wait, what did you write up there? Like with the black.
So what I wrote was the smaller number 12. And then I'm finding the factors. 1 times 12. 2 times 6. And 3 times 4. Those are all the ways to make 12. Then I've used the biggest factor, 12, which didn't work. I used the next biggest factor, which was 6. That doesn't work. But 4 does. So that's where I get my GCF. Then we have n's in both terms. What's the smallest exponent?
Oh, 3.
Yeah. So my factor is n to the third. So now I have a GCF of 4n to the third power times 12 divided by 4 is 3. N to the fifth divided by n to the third. We keep the base, which is n, and we subtract 5 minus 3 is 2. Plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. And I don't need anything else because when I have the same number divided by the same number, they cancel out. Becomes 1. This is the factor. That is factored. Negative 9x to the third minus 12x.
Came back with a different hairstyle.
I did.
It's cute.
So now, our first term is negative, which means our GCF is going to have to be negative. 9 doesn't divide perfectly into 12. The next number is 3. So negative 3 works. But what's the same in both? Well, these x's. The smallest exponent is this one. It doesn't have an exponent, which means the exponent has to be what number? 1. So I'm dividing out an x to the first. So my GCF is negative 3x times. The reason we're doing the negative is because our first term can't be negative. Negative divided by a negative is positive 3. So now I'm subtracting. I keep the base. 3 minus, this is a 1. When there's no exponent, it's a 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4. Two more. We have 5k squared minus 40k plus 10. Is there a variable in all of the terms? Is there a variable in every term? No, so we can't pull out a variable. We can't factor out a variable. But my smallest number is 5. They are all divisible by 5. So my GCF is 5. That's gone, leaves me with just k squared. Negative 40 divided by 5 is negative 8. K comes down. 10 divided by 5 is positive 2. You're always starting with the smallest number. Last one. So we have 63 m to the 6th minus 49 m to the 5th minus 21 m. So when we factor, we start with the smallest number, which is 21. The only factors of 21 are 1 times 21 and 3 times 7. I can assure you that 21 does not go into 49, which means the next number is 7. No, 7 goes into all of them. But what's the same in all of these is an m. The smallest exponent is this one right here, because there's no other exponent with it, which means it's m to the first. So if you need to write m to the first, by all means, do that. I'm fine with it. So, see this m over here? It doesn't have an exponent. It doesn't have an exponent. It has to be what? M to the 1. That's why I'm getting m to the first. So then I'm dividing. So my GCF is 7m. 63 divided by 7 is 9. I keep the base. I subtract the exponents. I divide. I keep the base. I subtract the exponents. I divide. M divided by m, they just cross out when it's exactly the same. And that's my GCF. What questions do we have? Okay. Maris, would you mind handing me that? Leave your phone. Okay. I would like to see you try 1 through 16 for tomorrow. I'd like to see you try 1 through 16 for tomorrow. 1 through 6. Wow. 1 through 6. Okay, so I'd like to see.
Can we work together?
Sure.
1 through 6.
1 through 16.
16?
That would be correct.
Wow.
1 through 16.
First, you
Yes.
wanna work with me?
Yeah.
So the last time you guys worked, you didn't work, right?
Well,
Mr. Miller was in here and.
We're gonna work.
Okay.
Or reshare. Reshare.
I took a little stumble there.
Serious
Goodness.
problem.
Oh, you're train wreck today.
The makeup goes on so much better whenever you put self.
Your makeup does look a lot better. What did you do? You said it wasn't weird.
But yeah, that was weird. I like moisturize a lot for my skin so feels.
Love y'all dearly, but that's not working at all. That's talking about makeup. Rather quick. See if you're here. I would suggest you use your calculator next time, because this process was right. 7 plus 5 doesn't equal 13. His process was right, but 1 minus 25 is an 85. Use your calculator. Okay? Okay. If you get stuck, let me help you, please. You guys have 10 minutes for me to help you. That's the whole purpose of this.
if there's an exponent, would it still be the smaller number?
Mm-hmm. So if the variable is the same, you have to have the variable in both. So if you have like 7r to the 5th plus 12, there's no r in that 12. You have to have a variable in all of the terms to pull out the smallest variable.
So -12.
So take a look at, look at number 9 up on the board. Do you see how there's not a k in the last one?
Number 9?
Yep. You see how it's 5k squared minus 40k and then no k?
Yeah.
So is part of my GCF a k? No, it's just the 5, because k is not in every single term. But look at number 10. Do you see how there's an m in every single one?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I pull out the smallest variable from there.
Okay, so like for number 1, -12b minus 16, 12 still goes 1.
12 is a small number, yes. Yep. But remember, if the first term is negative, our GCF will be negative. Does that make sense?
Does the greatest common factor for number 1, 2?
Let me see.
Is it 4?
Yes.
Can I turn these both in?
And what,
I have this old one.
you need to put corrections on a separate piece of paper, please.
Yeah.
Okay. So just do that tomorrow, okay? Okay.
Wait, like, you want me to get two or no?
So I want you to put them on a separate piece of paper tomorrow, so that way I can see what your actual corrections are.
Yeah.
I know.
Here, Ralph. You're not going to be doing quiz corrections in here, okay?
We can't?
No.
Oh.
It's outside of class time.
Can I finish writing them down? I'll have one.
I want you to work on the homework. That way, if you have questions, I can help you on that.
I don't know if it's like I swallowed it. I didn't mean to swallow it.
She started laughing, and then it just.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh, you guys wanna know a story? When I had chewed gum and I swallowed it, and then I was laughing and it burped back in my mouth. I'm not
It's
kidding.
disgusting. She was saving it for later.
It popped out and I was like, oh, ew, let's go back down so I swallowed it again. I'm gonna spit it out. What time is it?
The second time.
What's time? I'm
Yeah,
going
I don't spit it out. It was disgusting. Or not swallow it a second time.
No, I come here.
What are you doing?
So sorry. Sorry.
But she never really
Show
showed.
me.
It's a little, it's fine.
I know.
You saw the honey, but she never really showed.
Hey guys, put the maple with it.
Sorry.
Really?
Oh, these are.
I don't know if it's the cons.
Yes and no. So what number is the smallest number? Hmm? 4. Which one got a negative 4? And then you need to pull out the smallest variable. The variable is also the smallest variable, which is the B's and L's.
Do you want me to press stop?
Nope. That makes sense.
sounded kind of bad.
So when there is a variable, yeah, you always take out that smallest.
I'd rather be like, I didn't want to say it because it feels like that.
She wants to say soft.
Have a great day, y'all. Love you.
I was like, think I was supposed to get like a little bit of moisture around here.
Oh, what's the English
I
term?
need to fix my hood.
That thing was like easy. It's like all on your side. It's so easy.
Probably would be my impressive stuff.